Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So, big news, Oscar Isaac has officially been cast as Apocalypse in X-Men Age of Apocalypse. Oh, I actually think the movie just called Apocalypse now. They dropped the age of. This video is going to be a breakdown of the casting as well as all the things we know about the movie so far, and kind of how it fits in the X-Men timeline in terms of Days of Future Past and First Class. In case you forgot, Oscar Isaac is one of the main cast members of Star Wars Episode 7. It's a little too soon to be calling him the next Chris Pratt, but maybe we can think of him as like an evil Chris Pratt. Like a really small indie actor that blows up suddenly and ends up playing some of the biggest villains in the biggest franchises in history. To be clear, we don't know officially what his Star Wars character is going to be. Rumors say he's going to be something of like a Han Solo scoundrel, smuggler type character. I'll talk more about that during my Star Wars trailer breakdown on Friday. Today is all about mutants, and we can actually use that word because this is Fox. I get so tired about all the legal bullshit with Fox using the word mutant and Marvel having to use the word inhuman to describe people with special powers. And that is what's happening. Marvel is able to do special powers because they have the Inhumans. It's like a back door to mutants. Whatever, it's totally crazy. It's just Hollywood typical bullshit type stuff. But here's a breakdown of the characters in order of importance to the narrative. So first there's Apocalypse. The movie is named after him, so of course he's the biggest character. It's going to be about his life. Then there's Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique. It's possible they could change her backstory just a little and make her like a daughter of Apocalypse or related to him somehow. The comics play with her backstory quite a bit, but on screen they tend to simplify things to a ridiculous degree. I know that sounds really stupid, but that's like Hollywood movie logic for you. The other big character is going to be Magneto. Like supposedly Mystique and Magneto are much more important to the narrative of this film than they were Days of Future Past. Even though they were big characters in that movie, like this movie centers on them even more. It's also supposedly going to deal with their relationship as it applies to the future of the X-Men universe, like the fact that they were in a relationship or they have something between them. In terms of all the other characters, everyone from the First Class universe and Days of Future Past is going to be back, all the young actors, or at least the ones that did not die in Days of Future Past. In terms of timeline, the movie is going to take place right after the events of Days of Future Past. Maybe not right after, but really soon after. So if Days of Future Past was a 70s movie, think of Age of Apocalypse as like an 80s movie. The last end credits teaser we saw featured Apocalypse in ancient Egypt, so there will be flashbacks explaining where he came from. I mean, the movie's going to tell his backstory, but the majority of the movie is going to be in present day, where all the characters are adults. The story itself was planned to be like the next logical step, given the events of Days of Future Past. So, Magneto assaults the president on live television with all the world watching. He's taken down, but where do we go from there? Then we also have to consider that there was another end credit scene with Wolverine waking up at a future Xavier Academy where everyone was still alive. This is where things get a little bit fuzzy in terms of timeline, because if that future academy exists, it means the X-Men defeat Apocalypse. So how are they going to provide dramatic tension in Age of Apocalypse if we already know what's going to happen in the future? And the movie does not do time travel. And just to be clear, I don't think there's going to be any kind of time travel in Age of Apocalypse. I don't think they're going to do the exact same thing 2 movies in a row. Age of Apocalypse in the comics does deal with some flash forwards where you see like the post-apocalyptic version of what happens when Apocalypse takes over the world. I think the movie will address that. I don't know how they're going to deal with it if they're not going to do time travel. I just feel the idea of them doing 2 time travel movies back to back is a little ridiculous. The X-Men franchise is like such a critical part of Fox's earnings as a company that I don't think that they'd risk money by leaving things on a super downer ending. So I think it's kind of implied that the X-Men are going to fight Apocalypse to a standstill. Just think of like whatever ending would make them the most money. Like that's what's going to be planned. That's like a whole other conversation. You know, when is it okay for a franchise movie to have like a super downer ending? I think Empire Strikes Back is probably the best example. But that's when you have like a trilogy with a very clear narrative, one that's where the beginning, like the middle, and the end is totally planned out. And that's not really how the X-Men franchise works. X-Men is really like one movie right after the other, and just depending on how each movie does, the story is adjusted. Bryan Singer is the author of Days of Future Past and Age of Apocalypse, so they will tie together, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Singer is also going to write the next X-Men film. It's not like they're planning these as a trilogy. So here's a little backstory on the Age of Apocalypse story from the comic books. Just careful for spoilers if you don't know anything about the comics. This is going to be really short though, so I'm not going to go into super specific details. So if you think of Days of Future Past as like an alternate timeline future where humanity has tried to kill off mutants, Age of Apocalypse is like the other side of that story. The world is taken over by Apocalypse with the aid of his 4 horsemen and Mr. Sinister. It's a lot more complicated than that, but I mean, if you want to read about it, get the comic, it's totally amazing. Even though Apocalypse views himself as a champion for mutants, he isn't so much a pusher for mutant rights like Magneto. He preaches survival of the fittest. So all you have to do is be able to kill all the other people around you. If you can survive in his New World Order, then you'll get his respect. So just because you're a mutant doesn't automatically make you part of his New World Order. Magneto, on the other hand, would probably accept you regardless of what your alignment is, as long as you're a mutant. That's just a cursory explanation of the comic book storyline. I fully expect the movie to change a lot of that. Days of Future Past, the movie, changed a lot of stuff about Days of Future Past from the comics. Same thing is going to happen with the new movie. One thing they could do to keep the movie in present day without having to deal with time travel is just show the creation of the Four Horsemen, and like the X-Men fighting Apocalypse and Mr. Sinister to a standstill. Just in terms of duration, I think the movie is probably going to be about as long as Days of Future Past was, which is a little over 2 hours, so they'll have plenty of time to do a whole side story for Apocalypse and his Four Horsemen. Mr. Sinister himself is not confirmed as a character in the movie. I really hope we see him though, just because he's really interesting. And speaking about new characters, they're recasting a whole bunch of the X-Men that we've already seen. The people they're swapping out are like the big main X-Men characters, but the ones that we did not see in First Class. So like Cyclops, Jean Grey, the other X-Men that were really big in the comics, but that haven't been really big in the new rebooted movies. I know they had young Cyclops in Wolverine Origins, but think about them casting like bigger versions, like more A-list mainstream actors. So that also brings up the issue of Channing Tatum's Gambit, because that character is getting his own solo movie. Just cast Channing Tatum, that's in production. Supposedly, he's not going to be featured in the Age of Apocalypse movie. It's possible they could tease him. I mean, it makes sense from a marketing standpoint, but his character isn't supposed to be a big part of the film. Even though in the comics, he did become one of Apocalypse's horsemen, Death specifically. In the original comic, though, that was Warren Worthington. Everyone asking about Taylor Kitsch playing Gambit. Yes, I think if John Carter hadn't been such an epic bomb, he would still be playing Gambit. Channing Tatum, on the other hand, right now is guaranteed box office for Fox. I'm just going to wait till I see official footages and images from the Gambit movie to pass judgment. I'm a big Channing Tatum fan, but I have no idea what he's going to look like as Gambit. The Apocalypse movie isn't coming till May 2016, so there's a lot of time to get ready. The fun part now is actually just catching up on Apocalypse in the comics. The first thing I think you guys should check out, like if you want to read up on Apocalypse, is the original Age of Apocalypse comic book. Like I said, they're probably going to change a lot of it. It's not going to be a straight up adaptation. He's a big part of X-Men Axis right now. Like that's actually going down right now. It's a really good comic even by itself, even without Apocalypse. Then there's the 90s animated series. Totally awesome. I think it's still on Netflix right now, so you should be able to check it out. They did an Age of Apocalypse storyline. Like I think it was a 2-part episode. I don't have a lot of background with the Hellfire Club, but Apocalypse did meet Mr. Sinister through the Hellfire Club, and the X-Men movies have already done Hellfire Club in First Class, so it's possible that they could bring that back in the new film. So if you have any recommendations about Hellfire Club specific storylines, please recommend them in the comments. So here's my big question for you guys. Do you think that Fox, because it has both Fantastic Four and the X-Men, should try to do a shared universe like Marvel? Or do you think that would be a huge pile of fail and you just want Marvel to do it and no one else? I will say right now, I do kind of like that Marvel is the only one that's doing it. I don't want to see everyone in the universe start to do it. Marvel is making a ton of money right now. They're super successful. But I don't think that everyone else is going to be able to pull it off. Like, I don't want to see a Spider-Man shared universe. I'd rather see them loan Spider-Man to Marvel. But lots of X-Men stuff coming in the next couple years, so feel free to leave me X-Men bonus video requests in the comments. Really big reminders though, Star Wars trailer breakdown coming on Friday. Be sure to subscribe to get that. I'm also going to be posting my Walking Dead Q&A later tonight, then I'll post my Gotham finale video. So much awesome stuff happening right now. And in case you haven't seen me talk about it, I have new mobile links up here in case you're watching on your mobile phone or on a tablet. It's the same as the links over here. But click here to learn all about that Star Wars trailer that's coming, and click here for my X-Men Days of Future Past review. I know I really need to start like an X-Men playlist and do more X-Men videos. Thank you so much for watching though, so let's all high five. I'll see you guys tomorrow.